van back on its feet. Today, the National Weather Service confirmed that an EF3 tornado struck the city last night, killing 2 people and sending 43 to the hospital. Taylor Hemness is in Van right now. Taylor, we are now learning about the 2 people who died during the storm.
Anissa, that's right. We got their names earlier this evening. I want to make sure and tell you correctly. David and Brenda Tapley of Van. We're not exactly sure on the ages. They were in their late 50s, early 60s, somewhere around there, but they died in their home here in Van last night as a result of the injuries they sustained when that tornado came through. We're told they have adult children who were able to come and collect some of their belongings here in Van. David and Brenda Tapley, who died at their home last night. I'm standing in front of the First Baptist Church that is the shelter for Red Cross for tonight, and they're expecting quite a few people. Earlier tonight, I got a chance to speak to some of them. You may have seen earlier during our coverage earlier today, a man named Tex that we showed who had a horribly injured right eye, big bruise over it. He invited me to come in and talk to his family tonight. We sat around and they just told stories about what was going on with them last night when that storm came through. They showed me pictures of their home that was destroyed. I want to show you some video that we shot tonight from over closer to some of the damaged areas. Horrible situation over there as piles of rubble with steps leading up to them represent homes that used to be standing there. I spoke to one woman who said her house was not touched. She was outside of her brother's home tonight, helping family get a tree off of the top of it so he could stay there tonight. Her home just down the road was untouched. She was planning on staying there tonight. She had power, she had water. She said she was thankful to God she was going to be able to stay there and could not believe that the tornado passed right over her home and hit others all around her. It was her first tornado to survive, and she said she hopes to never see another one. Obviously, as many people here in Van are thinking and feeling tonight after last night's storms. Now, also, while we're talking about letting in until tomorrow, of course, Van ISD was out of school today. They will be closed again tomorrow. District tells us that JE Roads and Van Intermediate Schools were heavily damaged with last night's storms. We saw some of that earlier in the day when we were able to get closer to some of the damaged areas. The students in those 2 schools will be folded into 3 campuses in Van that are still usable. There's still several weeks left in the school year. They're going to have to stay in those still usable campuses for the rest of the school year instead of being able to go to their own at JE Roads and Van Intermediate Schools because of the heavy damage last night. Now, as you've seen all throughout the day as we've covered these storms, there's been some pretty terrible damage to specific neighborhoods. A couple of neighborhoods in Van hit harder than really any rest of the part of the town. And people there today have had to, I want to show you some video from Chopper 7. You've been able to see where it really hit hard in a couple of different parts of Van when the storm blew through last night. Residents on one street say cleaning up the damage is not the only thing they've had to worry about today. They also tell us they've had to worry about the presence of looters. KLTV 7's Bob Hallmark was there as law enforcement was on scene today to make some of those alleged looters stay away from these damaged homes.
The furious wind devastated homes, often with a single blow.
I wasn't home when it hit last night. My wife was. She was actually sitting in the living room where that wall is gone.
Longtime residents had never seen anything quite like it.
I grew up here all my life. Never would have thought it would have come through Van like this. Never.
This is Ground Zero. The folks that live on this street told us within seconds everything in their lives changed.
George Mattis' wife had just moved inside her home seconds before the roof caved in.
When the house picked up and moved over, she ran into the bedroom. Before she could even get in the closet, the ceiling fell in on her. She's okay. She's got a pretty bad bump on the head.
Then law enforcement began to notice men that seemed out of place. Men seeming to be surveying the damage, and then trying to take advantage by scavenging.
Leave now. Walk around some of these yards, you leave right now. Do not come back. You come back, you can go to jail. Do you understand me? Okay.
Some homes remained amazingly untouched.
On our block, mine's damaged the most.
For the victims, the sad job now of cleaning up.
Still a lot to move out and try to salvage.
Bob Hallmark, KLTV 7 News.
Now, I spoke to the police department earlier tonight about that particular incident. They said that was the only real incident they've had with any possible looters in Van tonight. They have not had any arrests related to the tornado today. and that's good news. And they've got lights set up all around the town right now in the places that don't have power, which is still a large part of the city tonight. They have big, bright floodlights set up to discourage any kind of looting or pillaging in people that are coming through here trying to take advantage, really, of people that have been victimized by Mother Nature. Now, First Baptist Church behind me here on Main Street in Van is kind of the main center for people who are looking for help here in Van. This is where the Red Cross is set up. I want to show you some of the video we were able to get around the shelter today. Lots of help has come in to help these people, whether it be food, to be clothing, water, all kinds of things have come in. Now, they had about 50 people here staying here last night. They're expecting maybe 30 to 40 again tonight. Some of those people spoke to us about how fast the tornado was and destroyed their home with very little warning, and that's why they're having to stay here tonight.
It started pulling 200-year-old trees up like carrots, out of a garden. It came down right over the top of my shop and dropping down out of the sky. Wow. It had about 10 seconds to get somewhere.
I had a 2x4 hit me right in the eye, and I got this here and here, and my wife landed on this part of me. When it was done and all over with, I was asking for help. People come over and help. They had to carry my wife out.
Get the kids, find the kids, get them out.
Now, you just saw Tex there, the one with the injured eye. We actually got to sit with him earlier tonight. We sat with his family and just heard stories about what was going on around their home. They showed me pictures of what was left of their home. He had a family of 6 that was just sitting there basically saying they have nothing left. They don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. They don't know what the next pair of clothes they're going to wear. They don't know what the next meal is going to come from, but they are all thankful to be alive. Now, obviously, the most important victim in a situation like this, or victims, is the people of Van. But there is another kind of subset of victims here tonight that have to be watched over as well, and that's the animals. That's the pets of these people who live here and now have no home and no place to put a pet. There's no place to bring pets here into the shelter tonight at the First Baptist. They took in about 20 dogs and cats. According to workers, the animals are not allowed inside the shelter, but the rescue workers will be keeping animals at an off-site location all night long to make sure that they are safe as well.
Everybody was upset, they're startled and they miss their mom and dad, and everybody's trying to get home and nobody knows, there's no home anymore to go to. We ran into one dog that ran around the same piece of rubbish, all day.
We ask that anybody that's looking for an animal that may be lost to contact Nicholas Pet Haven. The number's 903-312-7585. It's unfortunate things that's transpired here, but everybody's doing a great job working together.
Now, they're going to be working again tomorrow morning to reconnect some of those pets with their owners and make sure those families, for lack of a better word, are put back together. Now, as we reported earlier in the evening, the best news of the night so far is that all of the unaccounted people have been accounted for. All the people they weren't sure where they were, that they knew were living in Van, have all been found. Both the fire department and the police department have both told me that independently tonight, that everyone has been found. That's the best news. Again, if you are interested in helping, this is not the place to bring help. Tomorrow, if you want to come to Van and bring help, they told me at the Red Cross shelter at the First Baptist Church, they are completely set up with all the help. They've got more food than they can eat in there tonight. If you want to bring help tomorrow, we've got places on our website, KLTV.com, where you can go and look specifically on what sections, whether it be food, whether it be clothing, non-perishable items, whatever you want to bring to Van. We've got places listed on our website where you can come and bring that tomorrow. Major devastation tonight. 2 people killed last night after the tornadoes. But again, everyone else found. They have a place to stay, whether it be in their homes with no power, some with power, or in this shelter tonight. But Van continues to pick up the pieces and will be for quite some time. Anissa, back to you.
Thank you, Taylor. And we do have more information for you on donations. Many of you, so many of you, have stepped up to help the Van storm victims. And we have put together information on one place on our website. Now, as Taylor mentioned, the American Red Cross is not accepting donated items for victims of last night's tornado. They ask that if you're interested in helping through them,